Okay, I'm going to underpaint and ground my canvas with a little bit of yellow and red to make an orange. Probably more yellow than red. I'm just giving the canvas an overall warm tone. This is the color that will show through my top coats and give it an overall warm glow. It doesn't have to be thick, and you don't really have to do this step, but I find that it adds a lot to the overall look of the canvas. On this particular canvas, it has deep sides, so I'm going to paint all the way around the edge. It's gallery wrapped, and so I do not have to frame this, so that's pretty nice. That's my first step. Now I'm going to give it a good dry after I put my brush in the water. Next step is the green background. I'm going to mix a little of my green with my yellow. It's very, very bright, and to tone it down, I'm going to grab some of the orange from the background. I just want to put that in similar to what the background looks like. A little darker on the edges. Maybe pull in a little bit of burnt sienna as well. There'll be several coats, and I'm working wet on wet. That's my first coat, and I'm going to dry that. Okay, still using the 3/4 flat. I've rinsed it out a bit. I'm going to grab a little white, a little yellow, water. I'm going to start putting in the lime green. The more layering, the more depth you get, even in your backgrounds. Okay, let's try that one more time. I'm paying attention to what I'm going to be putting on the top of this, so I want to make sure the peacock butterfly stands out. So I'm going to make certain that some of these colors are a little lighter and more blended so that they fall to the background and the peacock butterfly stands out in the foreground. So I've added a little more white. I'm just going to be putting a little more color on here. I still have the background peeking through though. To achieve a soft blended look, I load a small amount of paint on my brush and lightly apply it to the surface in a circular fashion, controlling the amount of color that I put on. This is called scumbling or dry brush technique. And this side of the painting is lighter, so I'll put a couple more lights in here. And to make those look even lighter, I'm going to rinse out my brush and put in darks over here. Okay, now I've moved to my number 3 filbert brush, and I'm going to put in the darks first of my foliage. Now, if you're uncomfortable just putting this on with paint, go ahead and make sure it's completely dry and grab either a chalk pencil or a piece of chalk and draw out where you want your foliage. And then I'm also going to draw out where I want my butterfly. A small cloth, dampened paper towel can help you erase the lines you won't be using. Okay, now I'm going to put in the foliage. A little bit of red and a little bit of blue. It's going to give me a very dark purple. A little more water. These are closer, so they'll be larger because they're in the foreground. This will give the illusion of depth. And I can't forget to go down the sides. And then I want to make a lavender. So by adding white to this, I'll see the purple show up. And I need a little more pink in that. So I'll add red. Beautiful lavender. I think I need to darken that up a bit. I think I went too light too soon. So I'm going to make a darker version of that. I'm going to go ahead and diffuse these by just kind of rubbing on them a little bit. I'll kind of pull them to the back a little bit more. I'm going to have more detail in the front. These are all the same size, but because these are farther away, they appear smaller and less detail. Here I'm using the same value, but I've changed the hue or the color. So I've gone to a little more pink by adding red and white. Normally I don't put this light of color in this soon, but it has to be there so I can put the other colors over the top. Just getting these to look like they're closer by putting a little more detail. And I'm doing the sides. this one is more of a bud over here, so I'm going to put a little green with that down here. Need a little more yellow. I mix that yellow and green together, a lot of yellow, just a little bit of green. I'll get that bright green of the foliage. New little pieces of foliage coming out of some of these. Bright green really makes it pop. Okay, now with your smallest brush, you can add some more detail. Get number 3. We've got some little dots here. And we got another very bright leaf there. And some green here. And I see a little more red. I see a little bit of purple on this one, so I got a little bit of that. Just rub that in here. A little darker on that. And a little darker here. This one has a very dark area right in here. More detailing with the dark on top of the light. There we go. This one has a little bit more, a different color right here. I'm going to put that in. Needs to be a little darker. There we go. And then we'll put in some of the lighter values. Need a little more white. And we'll make a light lavender. So for the butterfly, I'm going to go into sienna, and I'm going to outline it around that chalk line. Goes up and over like this. And then the other wings are underneath, so they start out about here and come out there, about here, and then up. And then this one. And just tapping and pulling into the butterfly wing. There we go. So that gives me a good start. And then for the body, I'm also going to do it brown. Goes up in here like that. And then I'm going to tap on body there. And then in addition to that, There's eyeballs there. And then that body comes out, use your whole brush, like this, and then tapers. And we'll emphasize that in a moment. There we go. This needs to come out a little more. There we are. And I'm going to go into a little red and yellow, that beautiful orange color. Show you how to make a black. You get a red and a blue mixture going, a lot of blue, a couple parts of red, and then pop in a little yellow. It seems odd because it's a lighter color, but if you pop in a little yellow, that'll turn that almost black. So that's the mixture we're going to use for the black. A little more blue, and that will be the color I can use in here. So right around here I'm going to make I believe is why they call it the peacock butterfly. It looks like these are peacock feathers. That was my guess anyway. This one's behind. This one as well is behind the wing. So it'll be straight on one side. There's a little dark spot there too. And here as well. And then there's a lot of dark here. I'm going to go ahead and add some dark in his furry body, or her furry body. Water down a bit. And there's a little dot there, and there. Alright, got some more colors. I want to come out just a little bit more out here. It's a little bit bigger. Okay, now adding a little white to this brown will give me the color that's under here. A little more white. Just working at the very tip of my brush. Alright, and then there's some yellow, so I'll put that on there. There's some yellow right above here, right in there, right above here, right there. Now let's get a dark color. So this color, make it a lot thinner so we can go around the butterfly. Just on the very, very tip. And then everything needs to be lined. Make sure it moves on the canvas. Canvas has a little bit of tooth to it, so sometimes it catches on there if it's not thin enough. So make sure your paint's thin enough so you can move it around. There we are. Starting to stand out more. We want a very, very vibrant blue on the wings. That by taking a little bit of blue We're going to put that right in here. And then I need the white. Get it to a point. There's a little dot there and a bigger dot here. And then they go in here, here. There's purple there, here too. Put that on first, and then we'll put the white over the top. After it's completely dry, towel and very gently wipe off the chalk so you can see exactly where you're at. And then I'm just going to check my values, see if everything's as light and dark as it needs to be. I think I could use a little more white. Just a few dots. And lime green. And here too, a few more lime green bits. There we go. These are just the little tiny details. And then back in here, there could be a few areas that are a little lighter. And I see a little more yellow-green. And around in here, and closer to the flower. Here, past here, there we go. That might make the feelers stand out more. You may not need that. I just feel like I do. There we go. That makes it stand out a bit more. And here you have it. They make wonderful gifts. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with mine. I'll show you how I finish it off. I'm just going to put a ribbon on it. So I've had this gross grain ribbon for a long time. I'm just going to get a good amount out and tie a bow at the top. And I'm going to cut it same length. So I've tied my bow and I think that will look good. Like that. There we go. I'll cut these off. That's how it looks. And I feel like maybe this is distracting from my butterfly, so I think I'll take this flower out. I just realized that I don't really like that, so I'm going to go back into my paint and take it out. So I'll make it green, put a little red in it, and completely wipe this flower out. I think it's too distracting to the rest of my picture. Even though I liked the flower, I just felt like it was too much or with the butterfly. And the beauty of acrylics is that you can go right over the top, take out what you don't want. So I can barely see it. Just gonna go ahead and put some of those lighter colors in. continue from over here. I think that's less distracting. You can't even tell I had that there. So I like that better. So if you see some areas where you need to do that, that's how you do that. That's how you erase with paint. A lot of times I take a wet brush too, and I'll take out areas. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this project, and meet me back on Fridays for other projects like these. Tuesday I do my tutorials on how to paint, and then Fridays I put little special projects up here. This is for a friend of mine to say thank you for helping me out with something. I really encourage you to use your art to bless people. Instead of a thank you card, make them one of these little miniatures. They're just adorable and one of a kind. Thanks again for being here. See you next Friday.